Hello. Okay, I found this lost podcast. It was actually the podcast I recorded 1 week into going into Hong Kong. My initial first week of Hong Kong, like when I was going for my master's back in 2022. So I'm guessing this is like the August 2022, maybe August 20th or something of 2022. No, wait, no, 2021 of 2021. That's wild. Yeah, the August of 2021. So yeah, I just happened to open up one of the cloud storage, the iCloud, and I was like, oh wait, what's this recording? And it was the podcast. I literally lost it, and I lost it right when I recorded it, and that's why I never uploaded it. So yeah, one other thing, just for context, yeah, it's interesting hearing me talk about certain things about Hong Kong, not having fully experienced it yet, and me unironically either being completely right, like not even noticing that I was completely right at the time, or slightly wrong. But most of the time, I think I already was noticing certain cracks in the armor of the city by then, like about certain things. But yeah, just interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna upload it just as a interesting little thing, especially because it's been like 3 years since this thing's been uploaded. And especially because I'm finally officially and completely permanently back in the US. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let it play. Is there anything else I need to say? Oh, the only other thing I wanted to say is just that I'm pretty sure this will be the one and probably the only podcast where I actually talk about some of the things about Hong Kong versus America that are different or whatever. And yeah, it'll be the probably the only one. So I appreciate this if you had any like curiosity about Hong Kong, because I will not bring it up ever again.
Get the podcast started now. Okay, so I'll just start with Jabari's wisdom, and today we're going to be talking about, me being over here, and I have a special. This is a very, very special episode, possibly the most special in years. The one and only O'Neill is in the podcast.
Hello.
How is it been so long since you've been in a podcast? I think your last podcast was the freaking. Well, I mean, actually, you've been in a fair amount, actually, the beginning ones.
There's no way.
You've been on the Wisdom on Gay. You've been the freaking Is Hurt.
Oh, I remember that one. Oh my god.
You've been a fair
that
amount,
one,
actually.
That one we argued for like hours at like 4 a.m. It was heated too.
Well, we actually, because I was re-listening, because I re-uploaded it to YouTube and freaking an Instagram account, and we actually conformed after a while. I forgot how, but
Yeah,
there was a slight agreement, kind of.
I think we agreed. There was another one too. I think it was about I don't know if you made it a podcast, but it was about like I guess intelligence versus achievement and stuff like that.
Oh no, that was a podcast.
Okay, yeah, I remember that one.
But yep. So, as you all know, I guess, well, probably not, since no one listens to this podcast, but I'm now in the Hong Kong, and it's okay so far. I mean, I feel the freaking, like, the honeymoon period has ended completely.
Yeah.
Because now stuff is starting to annoy me. It's ever so slightly.
Give us an example.
Okay, one example, like, the thing that annoys me the most is the way people walk here. Like, people do not know how to walk. Like, they'll look in one direction, walk in another direction, but then look like they're walking in another direction, and then they'll just turn. They'll just turn, like, as if, like, it's like, there's no, like, usually, like, I guess, I would assume, like, in a crowd dynamic, everyone's kind of trying to be in the same, like, lane, not take, like, almost like a car. Like, you kind of hint that you're going to turn to the right. Like, you might look that way, or, you might slowly turn. So then, people aren't just abruptly like, oh, crap, he just turned. But here, they'll literally just turn, like, and looking in a different direction too. Like just looking around, and then just turn. Like they'll be looking right and then turn left. I'm like, what? And then sometimes I think because I'm black and people want to kind of take a little peek, but not like seem obvious. Sometimes they'll be looking in another direction, but it'll be obvious that they're like looking towards me or wanting to look towards me because they're walking in my direction. Like they'll slowly like walk towards me to the point where I gotta like dodge. And it's like it's an open area too. I'm like, geez. But I think that's the main like annoyance. It's just people walking weird. But then again, it could be me walking weird too, because it's only from the view of me. One thing though, I went to freaking IKEA. That was crazy. That's nothing like it here or in America. But I mean, apparently I went to a more popular area for the IKEA because I was just going to pick up one thing. I was just going to see if they had like one of those bed desks because I don't have a desk.
Bed desk.
Like where you could like have a desk on your bed, like it's kind of like raised so you can like lay down in the bed. Still, you should computer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to look to see if there's that and look to see if there's washcloths because they have towels, but they don't have washcloths in this place. So I've been using my hands like a freaking peasant.
You didn't bring your own?
I thought they were going to have them because they were like, yeah, we have towels here. Like, oh, there's no point filling up the bag with towels and washcloths if they, I would assume, would have, washcloths and towels, not just towels. I mean, yeah, not just towels. So I was also going to go there for washcloths.
I don't think washcloths is really a big thing anywhere.
Really?
I think usually they're called like hand towels, right? They're just used for drying your hands and shit.
But then if you're like putting on soap, do most people just use their hands? Like there's not even a loofah, nothing.
This is another topic, right? So like I thought washcloths were the normal. Like everybody grew up showering with washcloths,
Yeah.
right? But then as I got older and got more friends of other races, it seems like that's not the case. Like if they don't use loofahs, then they just use their hands.
But I feel like that doesn't work as well. Like it's not terrible. Like I'm getting through it,
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't seem like it's like it seems like you're wasting more soap doing that.
Yeah, I feel like it's really like a black thing, or if not a black thing, more of a like a lower status or income worldly thing. I don't know.
True.
Like I don't know if I have ever met a middle class friend that uses washcloths.
Hank.
But I mean that could just be my experience.
Because I never really like asked anyone if they're like that never comes up like when you would either be like, oh, do you use a washcloth?
It would.
Yeah, so I was gonna go to IKEA to see if they had that and to see if they had like a desk, like a bed desk thing. And I went in the city because the city is not close, but I mean it's closer than like going far out because they have like say 4 IKEAs here, and they're in like different spots of the area. So I went to the closest one, which was more in the city. And I did admittedly go on a weekend, so that could have been also a reason why it was so ridiculous. But I went in, and immediately, just different from anything I've ever seen. People just like sitting on the freaking benches, sitting on the freaking chairs, sitting on the couches. Like they're not buying, they're just like chilling. Like, having lunch, eating, talking, having fun, on their phones, just chilling on the beds. I'm like, what? Like as if it's like a park or something. Just chill. Like it's like a place to hang out, just chilling out. People like in the kitchens, not buying anything, just like playing around with the pots and pans. Almost like this is just my theory, but it's almost like they were simulating like what is it like to have like space to have like all this stuff. Like, oh man, what is it like to have like a big kitchen? What is it like to have like a big room? Let's hang out in the living room area. So instead, because there's no room in Like maybe some people don't have room in their apartment to hang out with friends or whatever. They're like, oh, let's go to the IKEA and hang out in their living room. Those stuff like that. There's just lines, just like the longest lines, all the way throughout the whole store. Like, cause in America it's just a big building, and you like go to separate spots of the building. But here, it's like almost like how like it's just a long path, like weaving through the store, just a long thin path, and through these thin paths, like your side shoots of the room sections. But it's not like a big area. Like I'm trying to think of like how you could describe. Like when you go to a museum and there's like certain exhibits where it's just a long path and you can like look left and right. There might
Yeah.
be a little thing. It's like that. It's not like a store like how Walmart or like IKEA in America is.
Hmm.
So because it's like a long path, if you want to get something, you have to get off the line and go to that offshoot. But since there's so many people, it's just crowded and the line moves so slow. And to get let's say it starts with the bedroom stuff, to get to the say the office supply type stuff, you have to go to the 18th section. So you have to walk through 17 of these sections just to get to the section you actually want to get to. And then and because there's so many people and it's walking so slow, I didn't even get anything because I was just so overwhelmed because there's just too much. It's too much. That was the first time, legitimately the first time I had like a what do you call
Like a mini anxiety attack or something.
it? Not anxiety. What's it called when you go to a new country? And, oh, that's where I had culture shock. The first,
Oh,
because I
culture
was like
shock.
that was so unlike anything I've ever seen, and it's so hard to describe like through words. It's just the
Mhm.
amount of people and like how unorganized and people just sitting around like it was it's just weird. Like everything else around here, it seems like it's pretty similar to like say how I don't know how IKEAs are in like New York or something, if it's similar to that. But I would assume like even in New York, people aren't just sitting on the beds, they're like sleeping on the beds and stuff like that. I'm like, what the
No,
heck?
that I was gonna say, it's probably more big city, like versus different culture, I guess. Because I mean that's how like if you go into any store in New York that's in a heavily populated area, um, it's gonna be like that. Just tons of freaking people everywhere in the store. Moving around in the store is like moving around on the street, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the part when I saw the people just, I guess, using the place as
Yeah.
like a resting station. I don't know, like they were just laying on the beds
Yeah, they're
and
literally like there were people sleeping on the beds.
yeah, just chilling and talking. I was like, okay, that's weird.
Like I heard that was a thing, but I didn't know it was like literally every piece of furniture was being sat on or slept on, or like there wasn't one bit that wasn't being used. And it's not like they were buying anything. They were just
Yeah,
sleeping.
exactly. Yeah, those people would be kicked out in a heartbeat if that was. But it like goes to show what was I gonna say? Because it's not too far off. It's like when people say, because you know how like, wow, this is taking a different turn already, but you know how like there's that whole, I guess, preservation ideology among certain extremist groups and stuff.
True. Yeah.
Um, and then like you ask them the question like, well, what is dot 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 culture, whatever it is that they're trying to preserve, and they name a bunch of stuff, but even within the country, depending on where you go, that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
So like you have culture stock going to Hong Kong for largely what is something that you would experience in a big city in general, right?
Yeah.
So it's just cool to think about. Minus the whole sleeping on the beds thing.
Yeah. And then so the oh, one thing that's weird, like that I did not expect is that like I don't know if I said this before. I haven't said it in the podcast, I guess, but still, the New York is the city that never sleeps. Like, that's its nickname. Like, stuff are always happening in New York. Rather it's 3 a.m. Like, stuff are open or stuff are happening because it's just a
Mhm.
busy area. But here, they have not that much less people. I don't know what the population is. Let me just look that up. Population, York.
Well, I think they have less people, but they're like way more dense. Like Hong Kong is a way smaller space than New York City, right?
Yeah. Oh no, they're pretty similar population too. Oh.
Oh wow.
Hong Kong has 7.51 million. New York City has 8
Oh yeah,
million.
yeah, yeah. Mhm. And I know that
Or
Hong Kong is a
8.8 million.
small
Mm-hmm.
place. I think.
So there's like it's way more condensed and all that. There's so many more people, or well, not as more people, but since it's condensed, it might seem like there's more people or something. But what's
Mhm.
weird, like exactly at 10 o'clock, the city just dies. It just dies. Like, cause one
Yeah, that's
example,
really weird.
I was going to because I was hungry. It was the middle of the night, not that late. It was like let's just say it was 9:20. I was like, oh man, I'm getting kind of hungry. I was like, okay, I'll walk to this one spot because I still don't know that many restaurants here, like at all. I was like, okay, let me walk to this one spot for some food. And I went to walk. It's like a 20-minute walk. So I get there around 9:40. They said the rest or the Google Maps or whatever said it closes at 10. So I was like, okay, I'm getting there. 20 minutes before they close. So it's enough time to get something to eat and leave before they close. But I walked there. It's 9:40. That place is already closed. The lights are all off. No one's in there. The homeless people are already took over the area, basically. Like, they literally have all their tents around the restaurant and everything. Like, they literally took over the area right when they closed, and they closed early or something. So
Mhm.
it's not like they're like, say in America they close at 10. I'm guessing they close by that time it's 10. They're closed. That's
Yeah,
how.
yeah, yeah.
So then I was like, okay, it's 9:40. I'll just go to McDonald's. So I go to McDonald's, order my thing, and I go to sit down. Sit down and eat. And let's say by that time it's 9:50. I'm eating at the McDonald's, chilling, maybe about to watch a video on YouTube. And this dude, this freaking manager or whatever, he walks up to me. He's like, "Yo, we're closing. You can only take takeout." I'm like, what? I look at my watch. It's 10:58. I'm like, what is happening? What McDonald's
Well,
closes at 10:58?
when was their closing time? Do you know?
I didn't know
Like,
they
did
had
it
a
have?
closing time.
Oh, I see.
Like, I
Gotcha.
thought it was just like a regular McDonald's. Like, you could just sit in and eat, leave. Like, maybe
Oh,
I could understand
you
at
were
like
that
12.
guy
I could
showing
understand.
up freaking 5 minutes before closing and expecting
No,
this.
but there were a fair amount of people in there. There were a fair amount of people already in there. They were sitting too. So I was like, okay, let me sit down. But no, the manager or whatever, he was going to everyone saying like we're closing. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
crap. I'm like, dang, they close at 10, or at least they close their sit in at 10. So then I walk in.
So, quick sidebar. Did he say that to you in English?
Yeah, he said. I mean, it was broken English, but he said it.
Oh, wow.
That
If he
that's the
had
thing.
said that to you in Chinese, or I guess
Cantonese.
is Cantonese the most spoken?
Yeah, that's what they speak here.
Would you understand?
No, not at all.
If what about Mandarin? Would you understand?
No, not at all. Like, I don't know that much at all. Like, I know a little
Well,
bit, but it's not enough to like, if he's like, "Oh, we're closing. You need to leave." Like, I could understand like, "Oh, the weather is warm today."
okay, so I have to toot my own horn. But remember when you were leaving and I said you're gonna get there and realize you don't know shit?
That's why it's lucky that they speak, like, even if it's like slightly broken
Yeah,
sometimes, they
yeah,
speak
you're
enough
super
English.
lucky.
And sometimes, well, I'll go to that story a little later, but say with the McDonald's, when he told me, then I was like, okay, let me leave. And I left, remember, it's around 10:58. I
Mhm.
leave the McDonald's, emptiness. I'm like, where is all the people? Because when I was walking there, there were people walking around, people out and about. It hit 10. I'm like, well, where are all the people? I see some people, they're all going on the buses and stuff, I guess to go home.
Yeah.
And on the sidewalks, no one. Like, when I say no, like, the difference between 10:50 or 9:50 and 10 o'clock is night and day. It's just like there's a couple people walking, and obviously they're just walking to go home. I see the shops, everyone's closing down their shops. Everyone's like, locking the doors, leaving. The roads empty. When I walked into the McDonald's, there were cars around. When I left the McDonald's, it's empty. There's just there's just a couple of cars. And it's so
Do you
because there's so many
do you know
people.
why that might be? Or
I think it's just they have a different, once stuff closed early, they're just done. They don't have
you should
late night.
you should Google it or something.
Yeah, it's weird because I was talking to one person and they said oh, it's not like that near the club areas. I'm like, so you're telling me the only places where people are up past 10 is the clubs? Everywhere else is just dead? That's
Yeah, that's
nothing.
crazy.
Even Chesapeake has more stuff happening at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's so different. And then the time when I lost the Airbnb card, that was the thing that was even weirder because I was walking down, because that was even later, and I was walking down these streets and it's literally empty. It's I'm the only one in the world, even though you see these skyscrapers. I'm walking next to skyscrapers and all this, but it's I was the only person walking.
Wow.
It's such a and it's I need to record it one day because it's such a night and day difference. The amount of people.
Probably
It's
be freaky too.
yeah, because say the mornings or right now, I can look out, people, cars driving, blah 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 blah. If I were to look out at 10 o'clock, no one, just the occasional person.
To be fair, that whole city that never sleeps stuff for New York is really the major areas, I guess.
True.
Like
I'm
it,
not.
like the residential areas of the boroughs and stuff aren't really like that.
True. Then I need to see what it's like. But then the metro closes at 12 or something. But still, it'd be interesting to see
I
what it's
mean,
in the main city.
there's
When I
still
say main city, I mean main.
a ton of freaking people, you know, doing shit at night. It's just not like everybody thinks.
But here,
You know,
it's not.
Manhattan's like that, or Jamaica Avenue in Queens is like that, and stuff like that. Like there are many places like that, but it's not everywhere.
That's the because I'm still you would expect there would be some food places that are open at 12 or something, middle of the night. It seems like there's
Mhm.
nothing. You better eat before it hits 10 o'clock.
I don't know how I would live.
That's why I'm
I
worried
could not
because
live.
some of my classes, even the class I have today, it starts at 7:30, it ends at 10 p.m. So I'm what am I going to eat? There better
I
be
guess
something.
you'll have to keep food in your room, right? Like you'll have to plan ahead.
Dang. But yep.
That's insane. Because during even here in frickin' Virginia, during I guess you could say during the weekdays, after 12 o'clock, and there's only four food places open. I want to kill myself in a video game. Actually, I
Oh, yeah.
couldn't imagine after 10. Who even eats before 10? That's
Yeah,
how
exactly.
I.
Also, another thing, with the Cantonese stuff, there was only what, usually people could kind of understand me, because I guess I do talk a little fast, because this is my fluent native language. But
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
at
yeah.
the school, and I just simply wanted to ask. I was because I usually in America or whatever, they have big trash cans everywhere. If you're going to throw away your food,
Yeah,
here, that's another thing. Here, it's weird. There's no trash cans anywhere.
I've seen that. I've seen that in a video.
Yeah, there's literally no trash can. There's no benches. There's nothing. That's why I had to
Yeah.
walk from McDonald's all the way back home, because there's no benches. There's nothing. So I'm what the heck? But still, when I was eating at the school. I was eating some breakfast because I went there one day for just this. What did I go there for? Did I? Oh, I went there to get my student card. So
Mhm.
I was oh, it's the morning. Let me get some breakfast. And the breakfast wasn't that great. I mean, it was okay. It was instant noodles though. I mean, they fancied it up a little bit. Still, literally instant noodles. But still, I went to get breakfast. I finished my breakfast. I was where am I going to put this trash? So I went to one of the people working. I was where do I put my trash when I'm finished? And I'm what? I was where do I put my food? I'm done eating. Where do I put it? Like when I'm done. And they just couldn't I tried like changing it up. And then what made no sense to me? They went to ask a student. And I asked the student, I was like, I'm trying to put my trash away. Where do I put it? And she didn't know what I was saying either. I'm like, what? You're a student here. They teach in English. I'm like, what? So they kept like trying to find people to finally understand what I'm saying. And finally one guy was like, oh, yeah, you put the trash over there. And, there was like a little conveyor belt. I just couldn't see from where I was. But still, I was like, what? This school is taught in English. How did the student not understand me?
I told you. Like when they say 20% of the population speaks English, that student is what they're talking about. That's who they're talking about.
That's why I'm sometimes. That's why I still haven't gone to many restaurants because not only.
But how do they? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go.
I was gonna say it's crazy. How do they not fail?
That's why it must be like only writing or something. Like they don't test on like listening and stuff.
But oh wait, did you mean the school teaches English or the school is taught in English?
No. The school is taught fully in English.
Okay. So the school, is it the what is? I don't want to ask you. I don't know who's gonna hear this. So this is the university in Hong Kong, taught fully in English. The professors speak to the students in English.
And university HKUST. So that's the difference. I think Hong Kong University, they teach probably a little bit in Cantonese or something. Maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
But my university, they teach fully in English. Everything's in English.
Wait, did she go to your university?
Yes. It was in the cafeteria of that university.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm like, when she didn't know what I was talking about, I was like, what? And I was like,
that's crazy.
Like, I don't know if to me, I was saying it simply, but maybe I was like, slurring the words or talking really fast. But I tried. I was like,
that's gotta be it.
My food. I need to put my food in the
You should have written it down. Maybe she would probably get it if you wrote it down.
But I mean, there's some people. Of course, there are some people who speak really fluent English. Like a few people I met, obviously they spoke, well English or whatever.
Well English.
Good English.
You don't even speak good English.
One thing I was asking them, like, oh, do I have an American accent? Because I was like, when you're thinking about your own voice, you don't think you have an accent. Apparently you do.
Of course.
But I'm like, I still want to hear someone mock an American accent, though. Because you know how people can mock, like, a British accent. And, like, it's just exaggerated, but you could tell it's a British accent. It was like, what does
British
American accent sound like when someone mocks it?
You just gotta go to YouTube. British people do it all the time.
But I don't.
They're pretty good at it too.
Or like Californian, because those are like the obvious ones.
Yeah, those are the ones they always go for. Virginia is actually considered like the baseline of American English.
Which way? What?
Like Virginia is actually considered the baseline of American English.
Oh dang.
Like with the least accent. Of course, that's probably Northern Virginia, because Southern Virginia's got a lot of bunkers.
But that also depends on the area of Southern Virginia, because like I would assume Hampton Roads, everyone has like a like there's some people who have the country accent, but it's not as many.
Yeah, and it's not as bad either. But man, you go out west a little bit, and we're like full freaking hick town.
Was there anything else I noticed that was kind of? I mean, it seems like they're always building skyscrapers here. It's just constant. Oh wait, do you hear that noise, by the way?
No.
Because there's like my room. I don't know what they're doing, but there's like construction that's done above my room, and they've been doing this for like a week.
No, I don't know. I don't.
It's probably the Discord cuts it out. Luckily.
They what was I gonna say? What did you say just before that?
Oh, always building skyscrapers?
Oh, I wonder if that's just for like artificial job creation.
I wonder about, because there was Wait, what was I thinking? Oh, I do wonder about like some of these like you could say that about any city, I guess. But
Hmm.
like, I'm walking around, I see these certain shops that seem like really specific or, like whatever type shops. And I'm like, there's no one in there. They might get like a maximum of one customer a week. So I'm like,
Yeah,
who, like, how are these people getting paid? I was even thinking
I
about
don't
that
know.
about like the fancy restaurants because like there's this area, that's the area I usually not where I eat in, but I have to pass through to get to the. Jeez, I don't know how you can't hear this.
No, I can't.
Jeez, the Discord thing's good then because this wow. But the like I have to pass through this like little fancy area just to get to the place where I eat, like near this museum,
Hmm.
and also that's where that McDonald's was. And there's like these fancy places like Chanel, whatever the other fancy like restaurant or places are. But I'm like,
Chanel is a
Channel? What is it
clothing.
called?
It's yeah, it's Chanel, but it's like a luxury item,
Yeah,
like
exactly. There's all
bags
these
or
super
clothes
lux.
or
There's all these
perfume.
luxury like shops, like these big shops
Hmm.
that are just luxury, like Gucci, Chanel. Like this
Yeah,
one
yeah.
area or one of the areas that has it, because there's another spot that has like fancy stuff that I know of. But this one is fancy, and no one's walking in there because well, maybe the occasional person's walking in there. Still, not as much as you would assume for these big stores. I'm like, how are these guys getting paid? Like, where's this money coming from? Where you could just build a big shop and only like 5 people actually go in there and buy something.
Uh, I wouldn't worry about the big luxury places. I'm sure, because I mean, it's not like those are owned by mom and pop. You know,
True.
it's a big international
Still seems weird
corporation.
that they had that big freaking store when not that many people go in. 'Cause I was
Well,
like trying to do like the math like in my head. Obviously, I didn't actually do it, but I was like, let's say a bag costs $1,000, and one
mhm.
person walked in there and got $1,000, $1,000 bag, like one person a day. I like that might be enough to like give the salary of one of the workers. Like for each bag that's bought is like a week's worth of salary or more of one of the workers. But I'm like, but the store itself has to like, you have to pay for the permit and all that. I'm like, how are they not doing this at a loss constantly?
I mean, because there more people are buying than you think, obviously.
I guess, true. But yeah, I mean, the freaking metro and everything, that's pretty simple. I was worried about the blue bus or the green bus because that's the thing where like, the locals use, and you have to use like, you have to tell them to stop and stuff like that. But it's
Hmm.
actually not that bad because we're in the 21st century. Because,
What do you mean?
using Apple Maps or Google Maps makes it so much simpler because you don't need to know where to stop. Like, say, how many, 10 years ago? Okay, that's different because maybe the Apple Maps or Google Maps wasn't as great for this area or something. So you would actually have to know where to stop and you have to like tell them, like, oh, I'm going or whatever, and tell them to stop. But now,
Why?
since the
Oh, so
what?
why is it every time you try to speak Chinese, you put on that ridiculous voice?
Because I know my tones are wrong, so I might as well get it completely wrong.
Look, they're definitely not gonna ever understand you.
But
Like, I'm just trying to picture you actually trying to speak Chinese with someone in the public, and they're just like, um,
but because the apps you get like it actually tells you like okay at this stop that's when you need to leave and you can look at your phone and see that you're close to the stop
yeah.
so you don't have to like know where to go like I'm relying on the maps the whole time. And then the other thing, like a lot of the buses, like there were a couple of the buses that you have to like yell out telling them to stop.
Hmm.
But a lot of them, they have buttons on the side now, like just like a regular bus or whatever, where you can just press the button and then the person will hear it and stop.
Hmm.
And then for
Even
me,
in,
even hmm,
I was
what?
gonna say, even in older days, they would just, it's like, I guess like a rope
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you went lines the back of the bus or whatever, you just pull on it,
So yep, so
and
you
then
don't
the
have to
driver
even
will
speak
stop.
anything. And then
Yeah.
even for the ones that don't have like the button, the like for me at least, I'm going to like the popular areas. Like I'm going to the metro or whatever. So they're going to stop there anyway. So it's like I haven't spoke at all in that bus yet. So I haven't had to speak any Cantonese or whatever. And then I think the hardest part, and it's not even hard, is that you have to know to like if you're in a random spot, you have to know like okay when this bus like say I take bus 11, like okay when bus 11 drives by, I need to put my hand out like hey hey, hey. So then he knows to stop because he won't stop for me if I'm sitting at the bus stop.
Yeah.
He'll just keep going, not
Why?
wasting time.
Why?
I think it's a mix of like I might be waiting for another bus because sometimes multiple buses use the same stop, like say 12, like bus 12,
Oh,
mini
oh,
bus 12, mini
gotcha,
bus
gotcha,
11. But then
gotcha.
also, I think they just don't want to waste the time to like stop. So they're just going to keep going unless I do my little wave.
Yeah, that's a dumb system.
I mean, it's not
It's like, I
too
mean,
bad, I guess.
multiple in like New York, obviously different buses go different places, but they all stop at the same stop, at least for a second, you know?
See, that's the thing. Like, do they stop at the same stop even if there's no one sitting there? I don't know.
No, 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 no. I don't know if no one's sitting there, but
No, but let's say uh, like it's going to 3 stops and there's people on the bus too, but there's no one sitting at those stops. Will they still stop at the stop just in case one of those people on the bus need to leave?
they stop for like no, no, no. They stop if um someone says that they got to get off here if no one's there, I think.
Okay.
But if there's someone there to get on, they'll stop, and then if no one gets on, they just close the door and keep driving.
Then I think that is the main difference. Then they won't stop unless that person waved, or unless it's like a popular stop, like say
Mhm.
like the MT like where the MTR is, and then the MTR itself, because they don't call it the metro, they call it the MTR. But there are just times when it's super popular, like super popular. But I feel like it's worse on video than it is like actually being in the big crowd. Because it's not like you're like
Yeah, it
touching
is.
people, like bump to bump touching people. At least
Yeah, yeah.
not for me so far. And then also,
No,
I mean,
you're 100% right there.
yep. So it's not too bad. And then, I mean, honestly, like I mean, people always complain about like American or metros or wherever, like say the DC Metro. I mean, I never went during rush hour, so I don't know how bad that is. But I mean, they talk about like, oh yeah, the the MTRs here are so efficient and they're so fast and they're so like they're always on time. I'm like, when I was in DC, I mean, the metro never was late for me. I don't know what metros these people are taking.
It's just Americans bitching about everything like always.
Yeah, and then like the seats at the DC, like they talk about efficiency. The seats for the ones here suck. They're metal. They're freaking metal. And
Mhm.
I guess and then you never get to sit down really because everyone like rush like it's, like I'm like geez, like people will run in front of a grandma just to get the seat. So then the grandma's just standing. I'm like
I love
geez,
it.
people just want to sit. Well, I understand though, because you have to walk here. Like there's so much transportation it seems like, but there's no way you're getting past walking.
Yeah.
Because like even say the MTR, just to get to the next line, like say you have the transfer, that's like a long walk, like a 5 minute walk or something. Say when you get off the mini bus, like the mini bus is going to stop right by your home, so now you got to walk all the way to the whatever, like your next place. There's just so much. Like I was looking at my health app on my phone, and I have walked more here than I have walked. I'm pretty sure the entire pandemic, just in 1 week.
Dang.
Let me make sure. Let me look. Because it says like on average, I walked activity steps. So on average, I walked like maybe around 1,000 steps a month. And let's give it 12. How many months are we now? Let's just say 20 months. So 20,000 steps It's kind of crazy. That's not that much for the whole pandemic. And then just in this one little month, I've averaged 14,000. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm confused. I might just cut
You're
that out. What?
I think you're saying,
I've
didn't you just say
I did an average
you've
of
walked
1,000
more
steps.
total steps, right?
Yeah, I've walked more, I think, in this 1 week than I walked the entire pandemic, which
Yeah,
is
and you
kind of
just said you walked
crazy
20,000 steps in the pandemic, right?
because on average I did 1,000 steps a month. And let's just say it's been 20 months.
Yeah, so you're right then. What are you confused about?
That just seems crazy to me.
You just said you
Now that I
averaged
looked at it.
14,000 steps a day, and before it was 1,000. Am I missing something?
I'm just shocked I walked that little. Like when
Oh,
I'm
okay,
looking at
gotcha,
it now,
gotcha.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
only walked 1,000 steps a month.
Yup. From the bed to the computer to the kitchen to the computer.
Jeez.
That's it.
Hey.
That's so insane, though, Jabari. So let me get my calculator. That's really bad, too. All right, so 1,000. So you okay? That's wrong. It's just wrong. It's not possible. So 33 steps a day.
Oh, that's the daily average. Daily average. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay. I was about to
Okay.
say, like that doesn't seem right at all.
You're literally taking like giant steps to the try. You have to actively be trying to take as little steps as possible.
Oh my gosh. I was like, that just doesn't seem right.
If I get up right now and go pee, it's like 20 steps both ways. Oh well,
Dang.
20, 30 steps full trip. So no way.
So maybe by the month, I will have 100% did more steps than the entire pandemic. Or not even by the month, maybe by the second and third week, if I'm still walking as much as I did. Which I probably won't. Well, maybe not. Maybe so. I'm trying to think of what is there anything else that's like big shocks? Big shocks. Hmm.
We'll just continue. You last thing you talked about was going to the restaurant and everything. Well, the overall topic was everything being closed past 10.
Oh yeah, that. I mean, restaurant wise, food, like, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to the right places. Well, I don't know, cause crap, I would have to look at American meals, like the equivalent American meal. Cause I'm like, I mean, the food's they say like, oh yeah, the food's so much cheaper here. I'm like, is it really? I don't know. Seems about the same price.
Well, you have to think about the sample size of the people who are saying that, right? So what you're talking about is the people who have the money to go take trips to Hong Kong who are
True.
saying the food's cheaper there, right? So these are people who most likely are spending a good deal of money on food in America.
True, true. Because that's what, like, that's the thing that I always hated about, like, when I was trying to look up Hong Kong, like, just to see what it's like to live there as a non-Hong Kong, like, resident. Literally, all the videos are just like, oh, foodie paradise. Oh, the food, 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 food. I'm like, there's more to this freaking city than just a food that I need to know about. It's like, that's all people ever talk about. Like, I don't think there's a one video talking about the freaking, the minibus. Like, what's that like? So I was coming into this thinking I'm literally going to be like having to speak fluent Cantonese just to use this freaking bus. Oh, one thing I did expect, which I talked about on the Discord, of course, but I didn't talk about it on the podcast. The freaking cars here, because I guess you to use a car, you have to be fairly wealthy, I guess, or have enough money because there's all these like taxes and all this like stuff you have to pay, permits and stuff, just to drive a car here. So that means the people you do see driving, they're driving like pretty nice cars constantly. Like the cars you see on the road are fairly nice. Like I'm gonna say half of the time. I mean, I'm looking out right now and I'm not seeing any nice cars. I don't know why. But there's a couple. But still, like I'll see like there's so many Teslas here. Like It's unbelievable the amount of Teslas that are being driven in this area. Like, it's actually unbelievable. It literally makes me think that that entire company, the reason why they even have money is because of Hong Kong in particular. That's why they're like, there's that whole thing. Like, if you see stuff about Tesla, they always talk about, oh, the China market, this is this. Oh, they're building a factory in China and da 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 da. And now it makes sense because just so many people are driving those cars. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure how they have all these cars, but it's just the amount is ridiculous. Like, if I were to walk out right now and count the amount of Teslas that drove by for 10 minutes, it would probably be around 3 a minute. Minimum 3 a minute. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's still a freaking lot compared to, like, say,
Yeah.
America. It might be more than that, because I just see so many. And then you see a fair amount of the fancy cars, like the nice cars. Like, I don't know, like Porsche and, like, you know, whatever. I don't know cars, but, you know, the fancy cars. And then you see, like, you know, some of the sports cars and stuff. Like, I saw, like, the Lamborghini Aventador or whatever. It's like an orange Lambo. Looked pretty cool. Also, the one question you were asked, and a lot of people ask, is like, you know, what is it like being black here or whatever, when there's literally the only I've seen, I would say I've seen maybe 7 Afrocentric people, and only 2 of them could have possibly been like black, like American black. The rest of them were Africans. And, you know, I'm not going to like do the nod head up to a freaking African. You know, they're kind of different. Like, not in a bad way, but, you know, they're not like, you know, American black. You know, culture-wise, they're different. So I'm like, dang, I'm not seeing any black people. And another thing, of those like 6 or 7 people I've seen, I would say 6 of them, well, only one of the people I've seen were a black or Afrocentric woman. And that was at school where I saw like some African girl, I think. But still, the 2 black people I've seen, like, who I think might have been American black. There was one guy who was walking through the metro, or walking to the metro when I was walking out, and I tried to do the little head nod up thing, you know, did a little nod, and, you know, he looked so busy, he just kind of like looked at me. I don't even know if he did the head nod back. I was like, what is this? What is this? Where am I? Where someone's not going to do the head nod back. I couldn't believe. And then the second dude was at the university. I tried to do the head nod again, nothing. And I'm looking at this dude. His skin color was lighter than some of the tan Asians. Like, he was like super light skin. Only reason I knew he was black was because, you know, he had dreads. So, you know, you could only, you know, you had to have a certain type of hair to have, like, you know, actual dreads, not like, you know, those like freaking surfer or whatever dreads, but like the actual dreads. So, you know, he was black, but he had super light skin, and he didn't do the head nod back. And, you know, the way he was dressed, and like, there was just something off. I was like, I don't know if this guy is like, if he was born in America. Like, he must have been like born in Hong Kong or something. Just everything about it. Like, same with the dude who walked through the metro. I was like, he must have been living here for a long time. Like, I don't know, maybe 5 years, to not do that head nod back. Something like, when they don't do the head nod back, you know something's up. Something's just up. Because even like the nerdiest of the nerdy black people will do like the head nod back. There's something about this city. Yeah.
I like it.
So there's no black people. And, you know, even so, I haven't seen one American, or at least I haven't heard. Like, maybe that black dude who walked past, he could have possibly been, but, you know, I didn't hear him talk, and he did do the head nod. So, but still, I haven't heard like even a white American. I haven't heard anyone with like an American voice. And like the white people I've seen, they were like definitely like Europeans. And even them, they're like kind of rare to see. And then like, even then, like the few people I talked to, each one of them said that I was the first American they've ever met. Which is crazy that the first American they ever met was like a black American. So a minority American was the first American they've ever met. So there's that. That's also weird. Not weird, like just different. Yeah, like being here though, I haven't noticed. I mean, who knows what happens like when I'm not looking, or maybe they say something under their breath or something in Cantonese I can't understand. But I haven't noticed like any type of like weird like angry stares or whatever. There was only one time where I was like, that's because I was black, probably. Was I was sitting on the metro. The metro's pretty full. It's at one of those popular times where it's pretty full, and I'm sitting. There's a gap between me and this other person. This old lady walks on. She goes sit on another seat. Because she was, you could tell she was thinking
Oh,
about it. She's thinking about sitting
unlucky.
next to me, and then she was like, "Nah," and sat to another seat. And then that whole metro ride for a while, no one sat next to me, even though it's crowded. O'Neill, it's getting more and more crowded, and finally, some dude he just walks and sits next to me. I'm like, "Thank you, thank you." And then it's the same with when I went to the university. I mean, this could have been a little bit different because I was in the second row. I will know today though. If I'm gonna sit in a particular spot, and if there's a gap between me, if there's two gaps, I'll know exactly what type of place I'm in. But still, but it was the orientation, and I sat in the second row, and no one sat next to me. There were two gaps, and then there's people on the other side. But to be fair, for the orientation, I was on the second row, and there were only like 5 people who sat in that row in general, and most people I guess sat in the back. So I'll give that because I was in the second row. Most people, even in America, don't sit in the second row. They'll sit like further back. But in class today, I'm waiting, so I better sit next to me. I'm not gonna sit in the front row. I'm gonna sit like in that nice third, fourth row area, in the middle. No, maybe I should be more strategic. Like maybe to like the second, yeah, the second part of the middle. But yeah.
So
Oh yeah, and stairs wise, like I've seen people do stairs, of course, but like it wasn't like enough to like where I'm like, dang, people staring at me a lot here. Like it's me looking for it basically. Like I'm looking to see if people are staring, and I sometimes catch some people, but it's not like where it's like blatant or like people really really staring like all the time. And sometimes it's like people looking at my hair or stuff, but that happens in America too. So it's like it's not that big of a, like, I don't know. Like I wouldn't say like, dang, people are staring at me a lot here. Like I wouldn't say that, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So have you been to class yet? Or no?
Today will be my first day of class,
Oh wow.
because yesterday was the first day of classes in general, but I didn't have class that day. Like my classes are Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and like 2 of those classes are late classes.
Have you made any friends or
I mean, kind of like they're. I don't know if they're like like close friends. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, you want to hang out today at blah 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 blah. It's not like that. But there are people I can ask questions to, I guess. But they're not in the school, so I'm hoping like in class or something, meet a friend or something.
yeah?
Because I don't know places to eat, and I'm like scared because food wise, like there are 3 things I'm scared of. The reason why I'm scared to eat. One, I don't want to go into like some sketch restaurant or something and be like, dang, I went into this restaurant. It's like like low quality or like not dangerous restaurant, but like basically a restaurant that is, I don't know how to describe it. I hope I guess people might know what I'm talking about. Second, I'm scared to go into a restaurant and the menu's fully in Cantonese. There were a couple times where that happened, but luckily I was with someone who like spoke Cantonese, so they kind of like translated it through. And then third, what is the third? Oh, third, I want something like cheap. Like I don't want to go to like a restaurant, all these new restaurants, and each one of them are like expensive restaurants. I want to know like the cheap good places. I can't just go to like some eat-in place, spend $20 every freaking day for dinner. Because even fast food is kind of expensive. I'm like, what the heck? McDonald's is supposed to be fast food. I thought McDonald's is cheap. Is there anything else? Oh, there is one. Uh, Sweets wise, like the candy, pretty good. I mean, but that wasn't like Hong Kong candy. I'm getting like these German gummies, but those gummies are good. But I was going on the donut adventure 2 days ago or something like that, which I couldn't finish because I can't eat that much sugar. I guess I don't know why, or maybe because I just needed some meat because that was literally the only thing I ate that day was the donuts. But the donuts so far, I'm probably going to finish donut adventure on the weekend. But the donuts, they are different because it's like in America, we glaze it up, maybe add some like a layer of chocolate or something, got sprinkles and all that all around. It's like really sugary. But here, it's like all subtle flavors, at least for the donuts. Like, the dough itself is kind of sweet. They add like a little bit of sugar, like granulated sugar, but there's no like glaze so far. But those could have been just the 3 places I've been to, but still, like, dang, I expected like more like donuts, not like these lightly glazed donuts. But dough-wise, the dough is good. I wish the dough was like that in America, nice and soft. It didn't feel like it's been out in the open or in the air, like how Dunkin' Donuts is. The onigiri or whatever, onigiri, is that what it's called? The little rice triangles. Those are okay. But some of them I don't like because they have freaking like mayo in it. I'm not trying to eat rice with mayo. Nasty. I just wanted like rice with like, I don't know, some type of meat in the middle or something. Or fish or whatever. But not fish with mayo rice. Then the last food thing
Right.
I would say is what's the last food thing? Something I wanted to mention.
What is it?
Forgot. There's something I was planning on saying about food that I've only noticed so far. I will say the portions are obviously smaller. Because like
Makes
when I
sense.
was in the quarantine, I went to get a Pizza Hut pizza. I'm like, okay, it's a regular size. So I'm thinking like American regular size, which is, fair size. Like, I guess like the size of your, like, if you reached out your hands or whatever, that kind of
Mhm.
size. But nope. This thing was like the kid's pizza size. Like these mini little slices. I'm like, what is this? And then the cheese tasted different. Like, it seemed like they had like slightly different. Oh, that is one thing. They, like, the flavor profiles of some of the foods are slightly different. Like, say for the Pizza Hut pizza. Like, the cheese was like the cheese in America, I feel like has more of a aged cheddar type taste. Like, like the kind of, what does it taste like? I don't know, like more savory type cheese. And same with the tomato sauce. The tomato sauce is more of a salty tomato kind of sauce. But here, the cheese had like a sweetness to it. Same with the tomato. The tomato sauce had like a slight sweetness to it, which made me not like it as much. Like, I still ate the pizza, but it didn't taste as good as like the ones in America. But, that's more of a subjective thing. But still, I didn't expect the taste to be different. Same with, like, I went to get, because McDonald's has like, which is good, they have like chicken. Like, they have like a fried chicken. Or chicken wings or whatever. Which they don't have in America, obviously, but still, like, the chicken wings are good. But I made the mistake of getting barbecue chicken once. And, barbecue needs to just stay in America because people do not know how to make a barbecue sauce here. Or at least for that chicken, because the barbecue sauce was like sweet. But like, they have sweet barbecue sauces in America, but the sweetness, like, there's no kick. Like, usually it's a sweet kick barbecue sauce. Like, there's sweetness, but there's a little something else. Like, rather that's a little bit of spice or something. Like, there's a kick in it. But here it was just the sweet, which I did not like. But yeah, other than that, the food was pretty good for other stuff. I haven't tried any of I haven't even tried dim sum yet. I think I'm trying it today though. Lunch.
So what time's your class?
7:30. Overall, I would say it doesn't seem as big of a tourist type city as you would think. Like, since everything talks about Hong Kong all the time, or at least you hear about it. when people talk about Asia, like you'd be like, oh, Japan, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Korea, Singapore, or whatever, these certain areas. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like this that big of a tourist spot. Because, like, I feel like, which is, I mean, it's still a lot to do, but I feel like I've done something once or every day for about, like, for a week or something. Like, for 5 days. I did one thing every day. And now I'm, like, at the point where I'm like, I don't know what else to do. It doesn't seem like there's much left. But maybe you could say that about any city. I don't know. Which is, I guess, still a good thing because I don't need to be, like, running around every day trying to get to all this new stuff when I have classes. Still. I feel like I've officially seen all the tourist stuff that is to be seen. At least the obvious ones. All in all, city is a city. I mean, I'm in a new whatever country or whatever, but I mean, there are
Mhm.
still similarities to like American cities and stuff. Like I feel like if I would have went to like Beijing or something, maybe there would have been like a bunch of freaking culture shock and stuff like that. But here, the biggest culture shock was that IKEA, which isn't much. Like everything else seems like it's pretty similar, but it could be because it used to be a British colony. I feel like I
Yeah.
am pretty situated. I guess like it's not like a crazy thing yet. Oh, I finally got the
Did
Hong
you
Kong
were
phone number.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Well, the Hong Kong like ID number or
I have
a
the
Hong Kong
ID
phone
and
number?
phone number. So now I can officially play League.
Oh, true.
Is there anything I feel like it needs to be said? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I guess that is the end of the podcast. I would like to formally thank O'Neill for being in a podcast after how many years or whatever. Yep, yep. But yeah, that's about it.
All right.